Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take the sources you provide and really get to the core of what matters. Consider it your fast track to getting informed.
And today we're digging into a source you sent about what it actually means to walk with Jesus. It uses this really interesting picture of a son honoring his father, and also how vital it is to rely on the Holy Spirit.
Exactly. And for you listening, our learner persona, you want that solid understanding without drowning in jargon, right? So we've set this up to be hopefully clear, engaging, and give you those memorable takeaways. So let's unpack it. The source kicks off with this idea: Jesus as a son, one who honored his father, really wanted unity for his followers, and wanted the whole family, so to speak, to succeed.
Yeah, and it mentions those key moments, like God calling Jesus beloved at his baptism and the Spirit descending. It frames that relationship right from the start.
Okay, so let's really dive into that first part, Jesus as the son.
Well, what's really striking is how the source highlights Jesus identifying himself as the Son. Apparently, Son of Man was his preferred title for himself.
Right.
And significantly, it says he was the first one to really call God Father in that intimate way. It wasn't just, a formal title. It was deeply personal.
And that's where it connects to us, isn't it? The source draws a line from Jesus being the son to us. Through his resurrection, believers get brought into God's family too.
Exactly. So it's not just about Jesus's unique status. It's about opening that door for us to become sons and daughters as well.
Why do you think that title, Son of Man, is so emphasized? What's the significance there?
Well, Son of Man, it kind of carries a double meaning, doesn't it? It connects him firmly to humanity, to our experience, but it also echoes those Old Testament prophecies about a figure with divine authority.
Ah, okay. So it's both identifying with us and hinting at something more.
Precisely. He's one of us, but also unique. And like the source says, that unique position allows him to bring us into that family relationship with God.
Got it. Now, the source lays out three things a son does. That seems like a helpful way to think about it. First, honoring the Father.
Yes. And for Jesus, the source points out how he constantly gave glory back to the Father. Completing the work he was sent to do, that was how he honored him.
His whole life pointed back to God, not himself.
Exactly. It wasn't self-promotion. It was father promotion, you could say.
Okay, and the second thing, unity in the family.
Right, wanting the family to be unified. The source mentions that prayer in John 17, where Jesus specifically asks for his followers to be one.
Just like he and the Father are one, that really underscores the importance of community, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And the source suggests this unity wasn't just like a nice to have. It was meant to be a powerful sign to the world about God's love.
A testament to that relationship. Okay, and the third thing a son does.
Wants the family to succeed. So just like God sent Jesus with a mission, Jesus then sends believers out. He wants us to succeed in what we're called to do.
So we're not just sitting back, we're active participants.
That's the idea. We're empowered to contribute, to make a difference.
And they even gave a little memory trick for this son daughter idea, didn't they?
Oh yeah, the hand motion to the mouth, like eating.
With the line, sons eat a lot. Kind of goofy, but memorable.
It helps it stick.
Okay, so that's Jesus as the son. Now let's shift gears. What about the power behind his ministry? The Holy Spirit.
Right. So how did Jesus actually do all that? The source points us to Luke chapter 4, verse 14. Jesus returning to Galilee in the power of the Spirit.
So it wasn't just his own inherent divine power being switched on.
Well, the source emphasizes that he operated through the Holy Spirit's power. He relied on the Spirit.
That's a really crucial point. If Jesus himself relied on the Spirit.
Then how much more do we need to? Right. It flips the
Right.
script from self-reliance to dependence.
Totally. And the source then talks about the promises Jesus made concerning the Spirit.
Yeah, both before his death and after his resurrection. Before the cross, looking at John 14, he promised another counselor.
The Holy Spirit.
Exactly. Who would be with believers forever and actually in them. And importantly, they wouldn't be left orphaned. They'd always be part of God's family.
That idea of the Spirit being in us, that's incredibly intimate.
It really is. And then, after the resurrection, the source brings up Acts chapter 1, verse 8.
The promise of power.
Yeah. Power coming upon believers when the Holy Spirit arrived, specifically to be his witnesses.
Okay, so we have this promise of constant presence and power for a purpose. That's huge.
Definitely.
But the source doesn't stop at promises. It gives commands, right? 4 specific commands about the Holy Spirit. Let's walk
Yes.
through those. First one, walk by the Spirit.
From Galatians 5.1 scene. The source explains this as basically following the path the Spirit wants you to take, not just your own desires.
Okay.
And it uses that skin analogy, remember, walking hand in hand with someone representing the Spirit. The struggle starts when you try to pull away or go your own direction.
Yeah, that visual really works. It captures that internal tug of war perfectly. And the memory aid.
Just walking your fingers on both hands. Simple.
Easy enough. Okay, command number 2, do not grieve the Spirit. That's from Ephesians.
Yeah, Ephesians 4.3. This one highlights that the Spirit isn't like an impersonal force. The Spirit has feelings, can be saddened.
Saddened by what?
By our actions or words. The source mentions things like, gossiping, fighting. The skit example showed the spirit partner getting sad.
It makes the Spirit seem much more relational, doesn't it? And the memory aid for this.
Rubbing your eyes like you're crying, then shaking your head. No, don't make the Spirit sad.
Got it. Third command.
Be filled with the Spirit. Ephesians 5.1. Now, the source clarifies this one really well.
How so?
It's not necessarily about getting more of the Spirit, because believers receive the Spirit fully when they trust Christ. It's more about letting the Spirit fill more of you.
Like letting the Spirit influence every area of your life.
Exactly. Daily. Continuously. It's an ongoing yielding. The memory aid is that flowing motion, hands going from feet up to your head.
Like being filled up completely. That makes sense. Almost like keeping a battery charged.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's a continuous thing.
Okay. And the fourth command.
Do not quench the Spirit. From 1 Thessalonians 5.19.
Quench, like putting out a fire.
Sort of, yeah. It means not stifling or hindering the Spirit's work. Like when you feel prompted to, say, share your faith or pray for someone and you just don't.
So ignoring that leading
Yeah.
or refusing to act on it.
Exactly. It's like putting a damper on what the Spirit wants to do through you.
Yeah.
The memory aid is the finger like a candle, acting like you're blowing it out, then shaking your head. No, don't do that.
Okay. Those 4 commands, walk, don't grieve, be filled, don't quench, they give really practical handles for relating to the Spirit.
Very practical.
Now, the source wraps up with a really hopeful message. Jesus is here and offers healing.
Yes, it brings in Hebrews 13.8.
Yeah.
Jesus is the same yesterday, today, forever. And Matthew 15, where Jesus healed so many people with different issues.
In John 10.10 about abundant life versus the enemy's plan to destroy.
Right. The core message is that same Jesus is present now and wants to heal whatever hinders you from fully following him.
And it draws parallels, doesn't it, between our spiritual walk and the physical conditions Jesus healed.
Exactly. It gets personal. It asks you, the listener, to reflect. Is your walk strong, or do you feel kind of lame, spiritually stuck?
Or like, can you see God working clearly? Or is your vision clouded by discouragement? Like being spiritually blind.
Or are you able to speak up about your faith, or do you feel mute? Can you help others, or are you feeling too wounded, sort of crippled yourself?
Those are powerful questions. They're meant to help you pinpoint areas where maybe you feel blocked.
And the encouragement is whatever that thing is, that affliction, you can call out to Jesus for healing right now.
It brings it back to the fact that this walk isn't meant to be done alone or in our own weakness.
Absolutely. It requires his strength, his healing.
Okay, so let's recap this deep dive. We looked at Jesus as the Son, opening the way for us into God's family. We saw the absolute necessity and the promises of the Holy Spirit.
Then those 4 key commands guiding our interaction with the Spirit. Walk by, don't grieve, be filled, don't quench.
And finally, that assurance that Jesus is here, unchanging, offering healing for whatever holds us back.
And that analogy the source used about the motorcycle needing fuel. Trying to live this life on our own steam just doesn't work. Walking by the Spirit is the fuel. It's the power source.
It really ties it all together. So here's something for you to maybe chew on this week, thinking about those 4 commands related to the Holy Spirit.
Walk by, don't grieve, be filled, don't quench.
Yeah. Is there one of those areas where you feel you need to focus more intentionally right now? Or maybe reflecting on that last section, is there a specific area where you need to ask Jesus for healing, for renewed strength, so you can really walk with him?
Something to really consider as you move forward.